extreme northern Washington County, Tennessee around Gray. Doppler radar continues to indicate some strong rotation and 31% chance of a tornado there. So I just wanted to point out that we're continuing to see strong rotation throughout all of northern Washington County. And as you mentioned, let's go over some of the warnings once again. Washington County, Tennessee, tornado warning till 10:30, but may be reissued because we're continuing to see strong rotation. Then we're Washington County, Virginia till 10:45. Now another tornado warning. Now let's go back up there to Smith County, and this new warning does include the Marion area, and this is with the cell that has moved through Bristol, and had a new report of a $half sized hail 10 miles north of Bristol, as we were showing you that on Hail Zone a little bit earlier, but also the possibility of a tornado with this cell. So now the tornado warning, as you see in red here, does include a Chilhowie, Marion, Atkins, right along Interstate 81. Once again, continuing to move right along the interstate here, and we're still seeing rotation over the Emory community. We'll zoom in a little bit more and show you some of the other areas around Meadowview, Glade Spring, Chilhowie. Need to be taking shelter right now. You want to get to the lowest floor of your house. If you don't have a basement, get to an interior room. Put as many walls in between you and the outside as possible. Stay away from windows. If you're outside, of course, get inside, and to continue to stay with us for the latest information. And we go back to Doppler radar here, show you some of the other communities around DeBesque Mill, Price Hill, and Keywood. We're watching multiple cells, and of course that's what happens whenever we were talking about this for days about how the threat coming together, and there's so much wind shear in the atmosphere. We got very warm, lots of warm moist air, and then this strong cold front coming through. Still seeing some rotation around approaching Boones Creek and Piney Flats. So let's do some storm tracks on this to give you some more of the communities that will be affected by this storm. Not necessarily a tornado, but at least by the storm. And these are continuing to move off to the northeast at about 65 miles an hour or so. So here's, looks like Bristol's going to be getting hit again. Here's a look at some of the other communities, including Tri-Cities Airport at 10:36. And Piney Flats by 10:39, and again, as I mentioned, the possibility of it moving into Bristol again by 10:48.
David, if we can, let's go back and look at that system back near Gray. We are now having a couple of our viewers that have reported possible tornadoes in with this system near Gray. You can see right in here. This is also what you look for when you're looking into a system to see if it could possibly present a tornado. And part of the reason is, if we could get that back again, we'll show you that there's a little notch right here. This little notch is kind of an indication that you're getting the flow around, and of course we were showing you the possible rotation right here. That would be the flow around into this system. When you start to see these little notches, that's also another indicator, along with our velocity scope here, able to show you what we're seeing. And this is the area that we're looking at, where we're seeing some areas of green and red together. That certainly means that there's a possibility there's a tornado in that area. It's being indicated, and that the system will continue to move on off to the east. So those of you in areas just to the east of Gray, and also into the southern portions, David told you some areas just a minute ago down toward Johnson City, that area on the southern edge. You need to keep your eye on this system as it continues to push across. Now here's the system we're talking about as it continues to track off to the north, as it makes its way off toward Bluff City, also continuing off to areas to the east like Piney Flats. So you need to keep that in mind. The southern edge, here's Johnson City, talking about the southern edge of the system, just to the west of Johnson City. It's also near Jonesboro. So for those of you folks in that area, you need to take immediate action, because this could certainly end up with very challenging weather for you, and severe weather in the next little bit as it moves into your area. We'll continue to watch that pushing on off. You see areas like Boones Creek that David mentioned a couple of minutes ago. We continue to see these areas chugging right up 81. We'll also take a look a little bit closer to the area we've been watching moving from Abingdon. It's up near Chilhowie now, over to Saltville. Still quite a bit of action with this system as well, so do keep in mind that as that system approaches, you could see some threatening conditions, so you need to go to your safe place, wherever it's a basement or inside a small area inside your home, a closet, or even a small bathroom, because that's the safest place to be. You can see from the hail zone here that is reporting or indicating to us what you might be able to see. 1-inch hail underneath this as it continues to push on off in that thunderstorm. That will continue to be a situation, the hail along with the damaging winds, of course, and the tornadoes that have certainly popped up in several places. Let me back out again and let's re-emphasize these tornado safety tips for you, because it is extremely important. You need to have a safe place to get to. The basement is the best place for the lowest floor in your home. If there is not a basement, remember, a closet or a bathroom, especially if it's an interior bathroom, is the safest place. And if you can get into the bathtub and cover yourself up, that even helps even more. Also, evacuate mobile homes. You really don't need to even be in there through the entire event before it ever arrives. You need to have a plan always for that. If you happen to be outside in your car, you need to find a shelter. Stop, knock on somebody's door and tell them that you need to seek shelter with them in the interim. Also, as a last resort, you can get into a ditch, but remember, ditches flood. That could create a drowning possibility, as if you get into a ditch that is going to have ponding water. Once again, as we look at the area here near Boones Creek, this continues to be something to keep our eye on, moving just to the south. That continues to be part of the area we talked about, Gray, a minute ago, where there's been a couple of reports of tornadoes by some viewers that have been able to be on the lookout for us and have been able to find some of those as it continues to push on through. We want to keep an eye on that system, especially for those of you in Jonesboro, Johnson City. Keep that in mind. Continuing to Gray. Also back up to the north, you can see right around Bluntville here now. This is starting to move into the area there. Had a couple of viewer pictures a couple of minutes ago of some people that were able to find opportunity to get some shots of hail that came down in Bluntville as well. And that's something that we continue to be able to look at. And a couple of things to update ourselves on. I believe PJ and Rebecca have been keeping an eye on this in our newsroom, and would like to toss over to them and see exactly what they've been able to put together for us as well.
All right, thanks, Donnie.
Well, we're going to be also joining News 5 and Fox Tri-Cities tonight at the same time with our severe weather coverage.
Yeah, and when severe weather strikes, it's important for people to have a place to go.
Certainly is, and that was the case tonight in Greene County. In the Baileyton area, where they set up shelters for folks there because they were anticipating the bad weather. Obviously, they've been watching our meteorologists all night and knew it was coming. Now, we want to show you some video from there. They were at a church setting up just tables and, food. They got folks all together in case they needed something tonight. Organizers started getting things set up after they learned about the potential for danger. They want to make sure people had a safe place to go.
We thought it was important to have something in the northern Greene County area.
Now, according to our Fox News meteorologist working hard in the Weather Center, there have already been tornadoes touching down in areas west and southwest of Greene County with strong winds heading their way. And he says they've already had golf ball sized hail. Volunteers plan to keep that shelter open all night at Baileyton First Baptist Church. Now, if anyone needs to be picked up and taken to a local shelter in that area, you have to call the Emergency Management Agency of Greenville at the number there on your screen. Now, if you need time to get a pen and paper, we're going to have that number for you again just before we take a break.
Well, severe weather, especially tornadoes, has been a popular topic in many states, Tennessee being one of them.
Yeah, but if severe weather was headed your way, would you know what to do? Fox Tri-Cities reporter Melissa Gayona has more tips on that coming up in just a little bit. We're going to recap them for you right now. First of all, if you do live in a mobile home, Donnie Cox has been telling us to make sure that you find someone who does have a basement, head to their home, perhaps a ditch, but don't forget there is that danger of drowning. Now, if you don't have a home that has a basement, then it's very important for you to get into a sturdy area, perhaps a closet, somewhere with a strong doorway, maybe a small bathroom. And if there is a bathtub, be sure to get in the bathtub, put a very heavy blanket or a mattress on top of you. Of course, that's important to protect your head, your family, get everyone in, as many people as possible. And they say if you're traveling, you may want to try to find a church or a home home where you could knock on the door and make sure that you have a safe place to go.
If you're in a car, don't park under a bridge. Don't assume that the water is not deep. Don't try to cross streams. Just some things to keep you safe tonight.
That's right. Now, all these spring storms we've seen lately have local schools doing more to keep their students prepared in case severe weather strikes during the school day.
Now, we visited a local school today that had already put their emergency plan in action this year. Washington County, Tennessee students practice fire drills every month, but they've also been rehearsing what to do if a tornado should strike. A severe storm put those skills to the test for Ridgeview Elementary in Gray.
We've actually gone through several tornado drills at school. One was really not a drill, but we felt like that it would be for the safety of the children to be able to be in their drill position. And we did that for about 25 or 30 minutes until the winds calmed down.
Local schools are also required to rehearse what students should do for a variety of other situations. That includes threats to school safety and how to evacuate the student population off campus.
Emergency responders say preparing is definitely the key when it comes to being ready for severe weather.
Fox Tri-Cities reporter Angela Yingling talked with fire crews and the American Red Cross today, and she has more on how they prepared for tonight's stormy forecast.
Kingsport resident Ashley Hyatt planned to run errands early Wednesday morning to avoid any storms. She also has a plan for when she gets home in case the storms hit near her house.
I have like a half bath downstairs, and I would always say, you know, if it comes a tornado, that's where we'll go because there's no windows and it's an enclosed area.
The American Red Cross says they were making some preparations of their own.
We yesterday called our volunteers, put people on standby so that we're ready.
And the Red Cross recommends making preparations at home, too. An emergency kit should include food, water, flashlights, and a weather radio. Communication is an important part of preparing for severe weather. While many people have cell phones, oftentimes the power goes out during severe weather and the cell phones can't be charged. So if you're having trouble getting hold of your family after severe weather strikes, the Red Cross recommends setting up a gathering place where everyone can meet in case of an emergency.
That you're going to get in touch with your family, that your family is going to know you're okay.
While people are preparing, the Bristol, Virginia Fire Department says they are always ready for emergencies, but they stress the importance of having enough supplies for several days.
It's always good to have supplies for 3 or 4 days out. And again, good outcome favors a person who is prepared.
Angela Yingling for Fox Tri-Cities News at 10.
911 dispatchers also ask that people don't call about power outages. Don't call 911 if you lose your power. They stress the importance of only using 911 in an emergency situation.
Yeah, and as promised, here's another look at a phone number we mentioned earlier. It's for anyone who needs to be picked up and taken to a local shelter in Greene County. Call the Emergency Management Agency of Greenville at 423-798-1729.
It is a severe weather night. That's why we're going to go back to our Fox team and our CYB team tonight for more team coverage of severe weather. Donnie Cox is standing by. Donnie, what's up?
Well, PJ, as we take a look at the radar, you'll see what we're continuing to watch is the areas off to the north and northeast, as well as back to the southeast. This particular area back to the southeast, that is near the area of Gray. That's the area we continue to talk about. You can see getting near Piney Flats, continuing to push on off. You can see the signature there that might indicate some rotation, and then the little notch above it that you see right near Bluff City, that is the area that continues to be an indicator for us as well as it gets back into the areas it pushes on off to the east. Bluntville right now, you are certainly seeing a lot of severe weather, and this is the second wave to move through the entire area. We're looking out back near the airport and so forth as it continues to be a situation to keep an eye on. The Bluff City, as you see, the southern area, this might be where you could find the rotation, the notch just above it that continues to be a situation that we look at here. This situation indicates for us from time to time what we're looking at as far as the areas that might have circulation. So you see just north of Bluff City toward the Bristol Motor Speedway, that is a little notch that sometimes indicates an inflow of air that might be circulating into what could be a tornado. And then we have the signature that we saw just a couple of minutes ago. This continues to push on off to the east at a very rapid rate. You see possibly getting into areas like Damascus at about 11:22. Observation knob, by the way, at 10:59. You'll continue to see areas like Adwolf, that is at 1142, 1147 for Marion, Atkins at 1156, same for Sugar Grove, as they continue to be areas that will see this particular system. And again, it has had indications of possible circulation and a possible tornado, so therefore a warning was issued.